critical secret issues and additional pre-trial and trial preparations.
Hi guys, welcome to XCOM 2 War of the Chosen. It's a core collection we got here. I'll show you guys the settings, and I'll link it down below here. But I've got all the mod settings for it and everything here. I just went through them, so they're okay. I'm not gonna bore you with it. Okay. Let's see.
And what it means is that all admissibility issues about classified information have to be litigated before the trial. I sometimes put that it's like a pre-trial trial of the trial. And SECRET provides for appeals for the government or for the defendant. So these cases, even if everybody's trying really hard to get them to trial, they're very hard to get to trial. And I must say, this is Smith's fault if he was hell-bent on getting to trial, because he could have narrowed this down to an obstruction.
Yeah, that looks about right.
It wouldn't have been relevant.
I don't like timers on the missions, so.
The only thing that would have mattered is that they were not classified. He could have pushed that case to trial, but he insisted on having 3 dozen.
Let's see if this works here. Start at Templar headquarters.
Andy, this Florida case, one of the issues that Trump's attorneys are bringing forward is this chain of custody question on classified documents. And you saw the government acknowledge basically that
Let's check this out.
they weren't in order. Do you think that sets Trump to motion for, motion to dismiss based on prosecutorial conduct, which is more right now?
Even for Advent.
That there was a screw-up with respect to if it was just a screw-up, making that deduction for now. But they should have notified the court about this weeks and weeks ago. It's very strange that they didn't do that. So, Andy, we're at a day off from the Donald Trump trial. It'll resume again tomorrow. The Trump was able to treat social this morning to talk more about Judge Merchan. Again, saying that he was corrupt and highly conflicted. This is what the New York Post said of Judge Merchan. And the prosecutor who questioned Stormy Daniels, this is what he said about Matthew Colangelo. I'm sorry. The prosecutor who questioned Stormy Daniels during Trump hush money trial donated to Biden's 2020 campaign. Fox Digital also saying ex-top Biden DOJ official now prosecuted Trump was once paid by DNC for political consulting. The DNC paid Trump prosecutor Matthew Colangelo thousands of dollars for political consulting in 2018, Fox News Digital has said. I mean, Trump is complaining about the judge. He should be complaining more about the report. Well, I don't think anyone thinks Colangelo is impartial. I think you're right that it's a whole bundle of bias claims that he ought to be bringing, and he is bringing, because it's an obviously politicized prosecution. The judge is the figure in the equation who's supposed to be neutral and impartial, sort of like Caesar's wife. And here we have a judge who's in a very politicized system where it's to get the judicial slack that generally goes to Democratic lawyers. He's a former member of Bragg's office. He gave contributions to the Biden campaign and other progressive causes. To dismiss those because they were small dollar, but I think small dollar contributions of the country the result is to show that you're on the team. And there's a democratic operative that works themselves by basically. So that's a bundle of conflict to my mind.
There's a Suffolk University USA Today poll that shows a majority of people think New York trial is not going to be fair to Trump. Not fair. Just under
is that this belief that there's a pervasive bias against Trump. What does it ultimately tie back to?
Yeah, in New York, Jackie, I don't think it can be disaggregated from the civil fraud case, which was very political. I mean, you basically hit the guy with $500 million in penalties in a fraud case with no fraud and no fraud victims. And then you have Alvin Bragg, who was the progressive prosecutor in Manhattan. We've had crime surging in my hometown since 2019. We have a prosecutor whose default position is that he generally pleads things down or doesn't prosecute at all, and yet he's throwing resources of his office at this maybe business representation case that he could name, obviously, that would bring against anyone other than basically the political, and I think that's why people get turned off by it. We'll see how it goes from forward. Thanks so much.
We're awaiting a brief that the State Department has U.S. proposal weapons to invade Israel. How is Israel responding? We'll sit down with Kamala Harris, spokesperson for
What groups are actually funding the demonstration demanding from the Biden administration to oppose commitments?
Want to save money and get cash? For veterans, it's as easy as 1, 2, 3. 1, call your day at 5. 2, take out an average of $70,000. 3, pay off your credit card.
Call 1-888-985-1371.
Allergies don't have to be scary. Spray Flonase SPs daily for non-drowsy, long-lasting relief with scent-free gentle mist. Soups, Flonase, all good. Also, try our allergy headache and nighttime pills. Start your day with Nature Made, the #1 pharmacist recommended vitamin.
Oh, I put tutorial. Sorry. Shit.
It's your first move.
I forgot I put tutorial. Okay. It's okay.
Right now, save $50 on select AK system battery tools. Real steel.
Raising you is no bed of roses. Getting you anything for Mother's Day? Go to 1-800-FLOWERS.com. Hey, wow, gorgeous. I feel like royalty. 1-800-FLOWERS.com. Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day. Life insurance is extremely difficult to put off another day. That's why Select Quote makes getting coverage you need easy. Now get up to a $2 million policy with no medical exam and same-day coverage.
Visit selectquote.com now. I will never again lose to my brother beside the pizza because I've switched to consumer cellular. Now we get the same coverage as for up to half the cost. I'm the one who wins. Birds, when freedom calls, we're here to answer.
Saving on your education should be a right, not a competition. At University of Phoenix, this is the best scholarship or savings you qualify for. Simple as that. Explore scholarship options at University.
So one thing I like about the core collection, all the mods have been stress tested with themselves before I got to it. So I like that.
Is that bad? Oh, Dad!
And it fixes the vanilla game a lot too, so a lot of bug fixes and stuff.
Your future is bright with American Home Shield warranty to protect your coverage.
Tries to keep it true to the original game though, which is good.
Bees behind me. We talked about this. American Home Shield. Sign up today at ahs.com.
It's a primetime exclusive. The Columbia custodian trapped by anti-Israel protesters is speaking out. He's calling out the university's response in a must-see interview tonight on primetime.
NetCredit is here to say yes, even when is the
Damn it! You can't take risks like that. Watch your flanks.
So that's how you want to play it.
Nice work. Press the advantage before they get around you.
college campuses. Documents found around demonstrations suggest some groups are being exposed to Hamas propaganda. We'll speak with Missouri Senator Josh Hawley, who wants the Biden administration to investigate which groups are funding these protests. But first, William Montanez, live from our West Coast newsroom. William, what exactly do these documents show?
Well, Jackie, the documents are not about peace, but a call to eliminate Israel. Officials found them after police broke up an encampment at the University of Texas in April. Materials, experts say, help recruit students using sympathy for the Palestinians to introduce more extreme views. The handouts were found, held together by clips and rubber bands, and celebrate the death of innocent Jews and eliminating Israel. In Glory to Gaza, one document says, armed struggle is enshrined in law, waged with rocket attacks on Zionist settlements. With over 2,300 rockets launched last year, they also reject peace or a two-state solution, saying, we are not satisfied with coexistence or ending apartheid. We must liberate the land from the river to the sea. Another quotes the Al-Aqsa Martyrs Brigade, a known terrorist group that targets Israeli civilians, saying, we will emerge a timing where you least expect it.
It repetitively calls for the absolute elimination of Israel and Israelis through violence, and that's about as extreme as it gets.
Some materials source the Resistance News Network. It's a radical anti-Semitic English language Telegram channel that promotes Hamas and Islamic Jihad. Officials also found weapons, chains, and steel cables to barricade doors, and buckets of rocks and bricks.
Love scopes.
From the Hamas perspective, I'm sure that they want to normalize themselves. They want to make themselves look reasonable, and that they're a good organization.
Now, UC San Diego police found wooden stakes, metal and plywood shields, spray cans, and a sword. While 35% of those arrested at UCSD were not students, half University of Texas. Jackie?
Half. Wow. All right, William Montanez for us. Thanks so much.
All right, for more on what's behind all of this, let's bring in Missouri Senator Josh Hawley. Here's what Politico senators said about the money behind the protest. Pro-Palestinian protesters are backed by a surprising source, Biden's biggest donors. The article goes on to say the donors include some of the biggest names in Democratic circles, Soros, Rockefeller, and Pritzker, according to a Politico analysis. You are pushing the Attorney General, Merrick Garland, to investigate this. What do you want to know? What do you know so far? What do you think Garland is going to do with your demand?
Well, first of all, can I say that this is the least surprising development? I mean, these are the same people, the same liberal dark money groups who funded the BLM protests, who funded Biden's election last time, funding his re-election this time. And here's what I want to know. I want to know, are they now funding illegal activity? Because that's not permitted under United States law. You're not allowed as a nonprofit group to go out and fund activity that you know is going to violate the law, like taking over campuses, like smashing statues and breaking into buildings and threatening the lives of Jewish students. The American people deserve an accounting here.
Well, certainly the leadership at the New York Police Department is thinking that there is a bigger operation behind this campus protest. The chief of patrol
Guarantee you won't be able to pass it. That's crazy.
He said there is an unknown enemy who is radicalizing our vulnerable students, taking advantage of their young minds. As parents and Americans, we must demand some answers. We will use the might of our intelligence bureau and our federal partners to quite simply connect the dots. Follow the money, he says. The fact that Hamas propaganda has been found among the detritus at the end of the occupation of these campuses, what does that say?
Well, what it says is these liberal dark money groups are pro-Palestinian, pro-Hamas. I mean, this is pro-terrorism. Let's call it for what it is. And when they're out there calling for death to Israel, death to Jewish Americans, I mean, these are people who are advocating for genocide. And if I were Merrick Garland, I'd want to cover it up too. But the fact is, the American people deserve the truth. Enough cover-ups, enough corruption. This administration reeks of corruption. This is the latest example, and the American people deserve to have the truth here, which is why they should do a full investigation and release the results to the American people.
So yesterday on Capitol Hill, speaking on the occasion of Holocaust Remembrance Day, as part of the Holocaust Memorial Program, Joe Biden said that his support for Israel remains ironclad. And yet we find out that because he's concerned about the Rafah assault, Biden has withheld 1,800 2,000-pound bombs from Israel and 1,700 500-pound bombs. This, again, is because he's concerned that U.S. munitions could be used in Rafah. Is President Biden doing what's in the best interest for Israel as it tries to eradicate Hamas? Or is he doing what's in his own political best interest when it comes to the November 5th election?
No, it's absolutely what's in his interest. It's not in the interest of the United States of America, which is the most important thing. And listen, Israel is our most important ally in that region of the world, period. And here he is hamstringing them at the same time, John, that he is providing aid to Hamas. The shipments of so-called humanitarian aid going to Gaza, reports this last weekend showed that they were seized by Hamas. I mean, of course they are, because Hamas controls Gaza. So here he is, funding Hamas, helping Hamas, and hamstringing Israel. Nothing could be more upside down when it comes to actually protecting the American people, protecting Jewish Americans, or standing by our ally Israel.
So the CIA Director William Burns is in Israel today to talk with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Biden keeps on pushing for a ceasefire. The entire administration is pushing for a ceasefire. If Hamas just seems to be playing fast and loose, why doesn't Biden just call for an unconditional surrender of Hamas rather than playing this charade, or what appears to be a charade, about a ceasefire?
There ought to be unconditional surrender and return of all the hostages. Let's not forget that these terrorists are still holding our hostages. Here we are, months and months and months since October 7th, that genocidal attack. They're still holding hostages, and Biden's not doing a thing about it. He ought to be standing with the people of Israel, standing with the Jewish Americans, and most importantly, protecting America's interests, and that includes getting our hostages back.
So one final question, and this one goes to the internet and social media, TikTok, and its Chinese parent company, ByteDance, are suing to block the congressional law that requires divestment from China or the app be banned. China clearly wants to hang on to this app, ownership of it at least. Does that surprise you in any way?
No, I mean, it's very valuable for them, and it has nothing to do with the money. It's valuable because it is a backdoor into the lives of every American who has TikTok on their phone. They track your location, they track your keystrokes, they read your emails, your contact list. The Chinese Communist Party covets that data. They're not going to give that up without a fight. They're not going to give it up at all. So, of course, they don't want to sell TikTok, but they should be forced to.
All right. Missouri Senator Josh Hawley, good of you to join us. Always good to see you. Hope to see you again soon. Thank you, Jack.
Well, President Biden is wrapping up his remarks out of Battleground, Wisconsin, just moments ago. Polls show that voters are still unimpressed with his agenda. Will he be able to turn it around ahead of November? We'll ask Money Man Charles Payne coming up next.
Plus, it's been known as the Boy Scouts of America for more than a century, but now it's no more, all in the name of inclusivity.
It is the death of the Boy Scouts. Hey, we do need spaces. It's not bigoted to say some spaces are for boys, some spaces are for girls.
The darkness of bipolar depression made me feel like I was losing interest in the things I love. Then I found a chance to let in the light. Discover Caplyta. Unlike some medicines that only treat bipolar 1, Caplyta is proven to deliver significant symptom relief from both bipolar 1 and 2 depression. And in clinical trials, movement disorders of weight gain are not common.
Caplyta can cause serious side effects. Call the doctor about sudden mood changes, behaviors, or suicidal thoughts right away. Antidepressants may increase these risks in young adults. Elderly dementia patients have increased risk of death or stroke. Caplyta is not approved for dementia-related psychosis. Report fever, confusion, or stiff muscles, which may be life-threatening, or uncontrolled muscle movements, which may be permanent. Common side effects include sleepiness, dizziness, nausea, and dry mouth. These are all the side effects.
For the darkness of bipolar 1 and 2 depression, Caplyta can help you let in the light. Ask your doctor about Caplyta. Find savings and support at caplyta.com.
Some people just know there's a better way to do things. Like bundling your home and auto insurance with Allstate. She knows. And some people don't. Like home and auto with Allstate. You're in good hands with Allstate.
At Safelite, we'll take care of fixing your windshield. But did you know we can take care of your insurance claim? That means less stress for you. Hey, quick question. How we doing? Schedule today at Safelite.com.
All these games under MTV and no satellite on the roof. Think about this. Blue Jays, Cardinals, Orioles. What's missing? The Indian Continental? No, walnut grain. Pigeons. They'd rather name a team after Sox.
Hi guys. No, you look great. Now that I have Inspire, I'm free from struggling with the mask. Oh, Inspire? Inspire is a sleep apnea treatment. It's inside my body with a click of this button. Oh, I'm going to
Did you know you can get 40% off a single pair of glasses on America's Best? These savings won't last forever, unlike your eternal elation. Okay, settle down. Shop online or book an exam at americasbest.com.
I'm Jonathan Lawson, here to tell you about life insurance through the Colonial Penn program. If you're age 50 to 85 and looking to buy life insurance on a fixed budget, remember the 3 Ps.
What are the 3 Ps?
The 3 Ps of life insurance on a fixed budget are price, price, and price. A price you can afford.
He can rap.
A price that can't increase.
He's 6'3", Jewish, 220.
Coverage for $9.95.
But he's tall.
and take medications. What's my price?
Also $9.95 a month.
I just turned 80. What's my price?
$9.95 a month for you two. If you're age 50 to 85, call now about the #1 popular whole life insurance plan available through the Colonial Penn. Options start at $9.95 a month. No medical exam, no health questions. Your acceptance is guaranteed. And this plan has a guaranteed lifetime rate. So your rate can never go up for any reason. So call now for free information. And you'll also get this free beneficiary. And it's just free, just for calling. So call now for free information.
Call 1-800-700-2020 for your free information and your free gift. That's 1-800-700-2020. Don't wait. 1-800-700-2020. Call now.
President Biden delivered remarks today about the economy in battleground Wisconsin, a place where he remains in a dead heat for President Trump. The economy is still a top issue for voters there. Let's bring in Charles Payne, host of Making Money on Fox Business. Charles, I want to show you these swing state statistics because it looks tough for Biden to turn things around. You got Wisconsin, Georgia, Michigan, Pennsylvania. Trump leading Biden significantly in some of these areas. Doing a good job on the economy. How does Biden change the little time left?
You may have a better chance. I think the right word you use is feeling, because it's not going to be able to change the facts, I don't think. It's ironic because the folks in the media have sort of circled the wagon around Biden. They call this whole thing that Americans just angst about inflation, the economy, a vibe, that we're just going through a vibe that things are so great, but we're just too dumb to know it. Well, the fact of the matter is inflation was extraordinary under President Trump, and yet we had some of the same sort of on the rise, businesses were on the rise, entrepreneurship started to spike, and all this right ahead of the pandemic. People allow themselves to think back before they know that things were moving so greatly, and it was moving the way that we did. Not with a lot of money printing, not with a lot of, all the gimmicks that were used since then. And we learned that free money is not free. We're dealing with 40-year high inflation that won't go away. And by the way, all the pandemic money, at one point there was $2.1 trillion in what they call excess savings. According to the San Francisco Fed, that's now a negative $72 billion as people try to pay their grocery bills.
Yeah, well, people are having trouble. But if the Biden administration thinks that people are too dumb to know, maybe they should listen to these folks who were featured on Laura Ingram's show last night, who appear to be smarter than the average person.
Inflation's horrible.
I'm not that up to date than I was 4 years ago. I would say that the economy is definitely worse than it was.
I think it's scary as young adults who are preparing to enter the real world. Like, how are we going to pay off our student loans? How are we eventually going to buy a house? I think the state of the country is really scary.
Sounds to me like the Biden administration did not poll those folks. They didn't poll those folks, and they didn't think this out very carefully, right? And what's really probably the worst part of all of this, the absolute worst part of all of this, is that the wealthiest people in America have gotten so much wealthier. I'm convinced that there's never been a president who's been more beneficial for rich people than.
I love the fact in this game that if you do the legacy pack, which I did years and years ago, you would get the extra weapons, Old World Assault Rifle, Scattergun, there's a few others. And they come really handy when you're playing with rookies in the beginning. They're really handy to have. Sniper rifle in there as well too. It's like one of each weapon.
Monday afternoon, last night on consumer credit for last month. It dipped precipitously, but what's really down was credit card, down to 150 million. That number usually comes in the billions, so maybe we've hit a brick wall.
So Biden knows the vibes are up on the economy, and he's having a tough time convincing people that everything's great. It seems like he has turned to a new strategy of trying to control voters and remind them. I mean, he was in Wisconsin today at the site in 2018 where Trump planned for the Foxconn facility, which was going to bring a bunch of jobs to the area. Biden hosted his event today announcing a semiconductor or an AI facility for Microsoft there. So not an accident to hold it in the same spot where Trump failed to bring that to fruition. Is that what he's left with, to just troll Trump?
I mean, that's all he's probably ever had, to be quite frank with you. Listen, name Trump, name tweets, but I will tell you this, things like those, again, all of these things, the Inflation Reduction Act, all of these things that pump money into the economy, pick winners, pick losers. It just adds to the inflation problem. Here's the irony. The construction data we got out last week so that month over month, private construction is cratering. We don't want big government crowding out the private sector. Let the private sector do its thing. And so look at this planted building, Taiwan Semiconductor. They're not hiring any Americans. They said it's a culture class. We don't have the skill set. How about we focus on that? Refocus on education, starting at K, so that maybe when these jobs do materialize, Americans can get them. Because right now it doesn't make any sense to take billions of American taxpayer dollars and pay Taiwan Semiconductor and all of these other foreign companies to build plants here that will only hire people from their country.
All right, so Biden was in Racine, Wisconsin, again, where the Foxconn plant was going to be built. Now this Microsoft AI plant is scheduled to be built. We'll see if they actually break ground. We'll find out soon. But here's what he said about the state of the Biden economy.
Since I took office, we've added nearly 4,000 jobs in Racine. As I said earlier, we've added 178,000 in the state of Wisconsin. The unemployment rate is at a record low in Racine. Racine has seen some of the strongest new business growth in all of Wisconsin. It's only just beginning. We're seeing a great American comeback story all across Wisconsin, and quite frankly, the entire country.
All right, so then take off the rose-colored aviators, and here's the view from the ground where people actually have to fork out for things. Since Biden took over, groceries are up 21.1%, energy's up 32.3%, gasoline up 34.6%, Brent up 19.5%, with no end in sight. Inflation, Charles, is clearly a huge problem. You mentioned pandemic savings down. New record of $1.13 trillion in credit card debt because people are putting it on the card. Right, and again, because it's 22% interest, and maybe that's why I was shocked the number's 152. And I will also address the number of jobs and all those things. We know a lot of jobs lost in the pandemic. We knew a lot of them were coming back.
True.
One of the big worries I have, in a state like Wisconsin, I looked earlier, labor participation is actually down in Wisconsin and in America since Joe Biden took office. Again, that's the kind of thing that really matters to people. Like, why aren't you in the workforce? What is going on that people won't hit the bricks and find a great job in this so-called great economy? There's some really awful things happening out there. You can massage the data. You can talk about it without making any.
Oh, fuck. I didn't realize there was more.
That was going to happen. But we're not taking off. We're not building on that. Certainly, a large portion of the American public, every day a larger portion is left behind.
Truth is, he's going to have a hard time changing people's minds until interest rates drop. and he's got no control over that one.
Well, no, particularly as he's pumping money in. You can't pump money in and pay billions to build plants and not
shit.
money to the economy is like throwing kerosene on a fire.
I knew I fucked up.
You gotta put it out. You can't put it out.
Charles Payne, always great to have you. Thank you.
Okay.
Well, House Republicans are taking action to prevent voter fraud in federal elections. How the GOP is cracking down on non-citizens casting ballots. Former White House Press Secretary Ari Fleischer is here next. Plus this.
This is sort of endemic to who they've become in recent years. It used to be at least a reliable sort of news deliverer, and it has changed to something else. And I think, Congress is right to ask the question.
House lawmakers probably allege bias in NPR, but the CEO of the
Stay open.
the congressional invitation to come to Capitol Hill and answer their questions. Joe Concha coming up on
1, 2, 3.
Veteran homeowners, checked your credit card rates lately? Many are over 22%, near 30% if you pay late. Why not do what thousands of veteran families have done? Call today and pay off that high-rate debt with the lower-rate New 100 EA cash-out loan. It lets you pay off your credit cards and car loans with one easy monthly payment. Get the cash you need and the peace of mind you deserve.
Call 1-800-397-9341.
Excellent.
If you have wet AMD, you never want to lose sight.
That's dope shooting.
Some things should stand the test of time. Long-lasting Eylea HD could significantly improve your vision and can help you go up to 4 months between treatments. If you have an eye infection, eye pain or redness, or allergies to Eylea HD, don't use. Eye injections like Eylea HD may cause eye infection, separation of the retina, or rare severe swelling of blood vessels in the eye, and increased blood pressure has been seen. There's an uncommon risk of heart attack or stroke associated with blood clots. The most common side effects were blurred vision, cataract, corneal injury, and eye floaters. And there's still so much to see. If you are on Eylea or a similar type of treatment, ask your retina specialist about Eylea HD today for the potential for fewer injections.
But we know it's going to be a big change.
But it's the right thing to do for all of us.
It's just your mother and I were different things.
Which is why we got Sling TV.
So we can watch live and free TV all in one app.
That's right.
Dad gets live sports and news, and I get my reality shows.
And when we don't want to pay, your mom and I can still get hundreds of channels for free.
Sling is really keeping his family together.
You don't know.
My name is Dr. Zach.
Okay.
My name is Todd. I'm a paramedic firefighter. Been on the job for 28 years. My name is Dr. Peter. I've been taking bouts of nature for 23 years. I love bouts of nature. It was definitely part of the thing I would recommend to other people.
Shit. Got the cover, full cover, half cover, but you're up top, so that ain't bad.
I'm almost 55 years old.
Fucked all rookies, I don't have any support yet. Oh no.
Enjoy the great outdoors. Our bodies are kind of like machines. If you do not give the machine proper nutrition, it's not going to work very well. Simple as that.
Start your journey with Balance supplements. Get 35% off your first order as a corporate customer. Call or go to balanceH.com and use discount code FOXNEWS. Asking you, the mission is just something that everyone can really get behind. We're just regular people donating, and they think it's cool to be able to make a difference in someone's life in a way that it's meaningful. Life insurance is extremely important to put off another day. That's why Select Quote is getting coverage you need easy. Now get up to a $2 million policy with medical exam and same-day coverage.
Visit selectquote.com now. Here at Legion Flag Supply, we do sick and tired of flying flags that were made overseas, flags that
Delirium Core, excellent.
So we really need a commitment to quality. All of our flags are finished with hard packing, express points, and they are sewn double needle lock stitching.
all the flagged with rules are sourced in America and they are made by American businesses. We're American made from beginning.
Got to be the worst tech score. It's got 5 against 80.
When you can't watch or listen, get the latest news, business, and headlines on Sirius XM. Anytime, anywhere. Fox News on your home, Sirius XM. America is listening.
We now have so many non-citizens in the country that if only 1 out of 100 of those voted, they would cast hundreds of thousands of votes. It could obviously change the outcome of our elections.
House Republicans who say they are looking to preserve democracy and the Red Room Speaker Mike Johnson announcing the same act today, which would require proof of citizenship to vote in a federal election. Former White House Press Secretary Ari Fleischer standing by on this. Let's start with questions. She's live on Capitol.
Hey, Tom, good afternoon to you.
Yeah, he's following me in the elevator.
Security, the wide open border to election integrity, but House Democrats are saying that these Republicans are just blaming President Biden for something that they have no proof of. So this afternoon, Speaker Johnson did a huge press conference in which he accused Biden's open border of allowing hundreds of thousands of illegal aliens into the country. That part we know to be true. But Johnson took it further, John, and said that he believes some of those people are voting illegally here. And when I asked him how many, this is what he said.
We all know intuitively that a lot of illegals are voting in federal elections, but it's not been something that is easily provable. We don't have that.
Love snipers in this game. One of my faves.
If someone tries to do it, it will now be unlawful in the states where
So this is the very same bill that Johnson announced with former President Trump in Mar-a-Lago last month, and Democrats had immediately denounced it. The White House calling this a stunt. Congressman Benny Thompson wrote at the time, Donald Trump and Mike Johnson don't care about election integrity. They care only about helping Trump's campaign of revenge and retribution to regain power at all costs. That's a notion that Johnson today actually called silly. But House Republicans, John, are essentially getting ready to dare Democrats to vote against a bill that stands for election integrity about 6 months before a major election. John.
He's got a dope ass suit. Excellent. Green looks good on you, buddy.
White House Press Secretary and Fox News contributor.
Power converter. Excellent.
I want to play for you what Mike Lee said, Senator, because you heard Anxious reports say that Democrats panned this, saying that it's really not necessary. He's got very different takes.
We can all acknowledge that federal law prohibits non-citizens from voting in federal elections. And the fact that we don't have any mechanism in place to bring that about is false.
They say that there's really no mechanism in place to prevent non-citizens from voting, even though it's not allowed. Correct?
Yeah, that's what he's saying, and I don't understand at all how this notion that every American should vote in American elections can be controversial. Well, I love France. I admire French. I speak French. I love going there. I would agree with France. I would have zero expectation that I'd be allowed to vote in the French elections because I'm American. So why do we Americans think it's okay to have non-citizens voting in our elections? Yeah, we need election integrity. Only Americans voting in American elections is a great start.
Well, in some cities, if you have that happening, at least on a local level, I've already do an analysis from my Privacy Policy Center on prevalence of non-citizens voting. San Francisco allows resident non-citizen parents and guardians to vote in school board elections. Oakland is currently attempting to enact a similar law. Some cities in Maryland and Vermont permit non-citizens to vote in municipal elections. New York City enacted a law allowing non-citizens to vote in local elections in 2021. It was ruled unconstitutional by a state judge in 2022. Washington, D.C. recently enacted a law to allow non-citizens to vote in all non-federal elections. So this is happening at some level. But at the same time, you have, Democrats saying that it's not necessary because it's not a problem. You can't square those two things.
No, you can't square those two things, and you should always have good housekeeping. Even if it's a small problem, it should be zero problem. Zero non-citizens should vote. And as you point out, Jackie, there are 3 states and the District of Columbia that pass local laws allowing non-citizens to vote in municipal elections.
New York City was the largest of these places. 800,000 non-citizens would have been allowed to vote. Now, it did get struck down by the court. Could you imagine, though, if these non-citizens take what happened at Columbia, organized and said that there was a chunk of those people, non-citizens, who were, say, Palestinians, and they vote as Palestinians, and they say New York City police cannot go onto campuses to break apart protests. Do you really want people from another country who are here legally, but they're not citizens, to influence our elections and make our decisions? The answer should be no everywhere. If
I want to see play.
I would make this a constitutional amendment to make certain that only Americans can vote in American elections, because while they're not allowed to vote in federal elections, clearly they are allowed and have been voting in state elections or municipal elections in some states. And the best way for the federal government to do something to stop the states allowing municipalities to have non-citizens vote is a constitutional amendment. It's what belongs in the Constitution, and it should not be controversial. Only Americans.
So let's think about this from the opposite side for just a moment then, because Mike Johnson, when he introduced this bill, said, look, it's dead on arrival in the Senate, and we're going to try and put all the members of the House on record, and Democrats are going to have to take a position on this. It's a messaging bill that, you know, they can use the upcoming election to see how they voted, support or not. But if this doesn't go anywhere, as Mike Johnson expects, it doesn't become law, does it set the stage somehow to stoke any suspicion among the electorate that, you know, the can't trust the elections? You well saw what happened in Georgia in 2020, and when you make people believe that, you know, that their vote isn't safe, that it's not, there's no integrity in your election, it discourages turnout. So could it blow back on Republicans?
Well, I don't think it can go back on Republicans, no. I mean, the case the Democrats make is very few non-citizens take advantage of this legal opportunity in those 3 states to vote. That's their case of defending it against Republicans. They say, yeah, but it hardly ever happens. Yes, non-citizens can vote, but most don't for whatever reasons. That's a weak defense, because there's a principle involved, and the higher principle is who gets to vote in American elections. Why, my example before, why should I be allowed to vote for the mayor of Paris? Why should I be allowed to vote in a French municipal election? I should not. I'm not French. So even if you're here legally as a green card holder, you're entitled to stay in America permanently. You're entitled to work in America. But if you want to vote in one of our elections, become a citizen. This is what the Democrats are missing. There is something magical about becoming an American. My mother did that. We should become Americans if we want to vote in American elections. That's the history of immigration to America. Non-citizen, no vote.
All right, Fleischer, we'll have to leave it there. Thanks so much for coming on. Appreciate it. John.
A U.S. Army sergeant detained in Russia accused of stealing from a Russian woman he met in South Korea. Our CIA Station Chief Dan Hoffman will tell us that the Russians are likely to use him as a human bargaining chip.
Plus, Chicago teachers are making major contract demands. Garrett Tenney's here to tell us what they want. Garrett.
Jackie, the Chicago Teachers Union says these demands are its most ambitious ever, but critics say it has little to do with the classroom and everything to do with pushing a progressive agenda. We'll tell you all
Engineer, excellent.
Tired muscles and joints will keep it in my family. Now I can be myself again. Bluey supports healthy muscles and joints.
Okay, let's see.
Family products at major online retailers.
Specialist.
Liberty Mutual customized my car insurance and I save hundreds. That's great. I know I've been telling everyone. Garrett! How many people did you tell? Only paid for what you need.
Okay, everyone. Our mission is to provide complete balanced nutrition for strength and energy.
Ensure with 27 vitamins and minerals, nutrients for immune health, and Ensure Complete with 30 grams of protein.
Attention former Marines and family members stationed to Camp Lejeune. If you live or work to Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, for at least 30 days from August 1953 to December 1987 and had been diagnosed with cancer, neurobehavioral effects, had a child born with birth defects, or been diagnosed with fertility issues or more, significant compensation may be available. Call Legal Injury Advocates now to discuss your case. It has been proven that the water at Camp Lejeune during those years was extremely contaminated with toxic chemicals. Legal Injury Advocates has extensive experience helping you to get the maximum compensation
looks good.
you deserve. Don't wait until it's too late. See if you qualify today. You're not alone in this fight, and there are no upfront costs to begin your journey to justice. The call is completely free, and we're available 24 hours a day. Call Legal Injury Advocates to discuss your case now. Call 1-800-885-5599 or visit www.lra.legal. That's 1-800-885-5599. Call now.
Finally, Fernando, run a line to take matters on Trump's VP list on the issue that could decide this election. That's tonight on X.
These politicians never agree.
Oh, God.
This is before ACMED shuts down the connection. We need to seize control of that data if we're going to have any chance of stopping their progress. This is Avenger. The access point we're after is just ahead. Move to secure the area. Expect hostile resistance.
When it comes to drugs, how much freedom is too much for kids? Drugs are out there. Will my team feel free to say no around other kids? I didn't live drug-free when I was younger.
Save this for sure. I'm gonna see you guys next time, alright? Peace out. Stay tuned.